welcome back to this Greece travel vlog. If you're just now joining us, this is part 2. We have left Santorini and are on our ferry to Mykonos. Got a little pizza roll snack, read a couple of books, and made our way to this beautiful, beautiful island.
Okay, everybody, please follow me.
While in Mykonos, we stayed at this really cute family-owned hotel. It was really comfy, really adorable. It also had a lot of really cool local touches. I really enjoyed all of the art that we saw, both in the hallways and in our rooms and all that good stuff. The only weird thing was we kind of shared a suite style place with another couple, but it wasn't too bad. We had our own room and bathroom and all that good stuff. Overall, it was really nice. We have arrived in Mykonos in our cute little suite, and we will be here for 3 nights. And tonight we are, in like a couple hours, we will go on a small little bus tour. Tomorrow we have our big bus tour, but tonight we're just gonna drive around. They're gonna take us to dinner out in town, and then we'll probably hang here and maybe at the pool.
Yep.
Should be exciting. This place is equally beautiful. I can tell it's gonna be different, but it's still beautiful. So let's go exploring.
Mykonos is a very cosmopolitan island. Has visitors from here, and if you follow.
As you can see, Mykonos and Santorini have a few similarities, especially as far as the architecture of their buildings. However, Mykonos is much more beachy and much more windy. It was wild how windy it was out here. They also say that Mykonos has a better nightlife. We are not really night people, but you could definitely tell there was a buzz throughout the town.
Here, we are almost in the very center.
We started by checking out the famous windmills. This is really what Mykonos is known for. It's pretty iconic. We took some photos up here. I can't say enough how windy it was. I wish I could have the sound going for you, but it would probably make you go deaf. This little building right here, if you are a fan of Jason Bourne, you might recognize it, but no spoilies. I don't know what I expected, but I really didn't expect it to be this beautiful and scenic here. We got a little guided tour around the town just to get familiar, and then we headed to dinner at this really yummy place. I don't know if Mykonos was my favorite just place overall of the trip, but we probably had some of the best food here. This place, Kazarma, I think is how you say it, had amazing food. I got the shrimp risotto, their pita was delicious. This risotto had pumpkin in it. Cameron got the salmon. They were cutting up fish right in front of us. It was crazy, honestly, how good this food was. Our friends got this really fancy looking dessert. As you can see, they were celebrating their honeymoon. They had gotten married 3 weeks ago, so they treated themselves to this fun little dessert. It was kind of like a sopapilla vibe, you know, with like ice cream and cinnamon and that flaky goodness. It also had a little cream cheese taste to it, so this was really good.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
After that, we walked to this one little spot kind of on the corner and got to watch the sunset over the water. We clearly were not alone. That was the thing to do right now. But wow, it was worth it. We took a couple of pictures, but ultimately just stood there and basked in the beauty that is Mykonos. After this, we wouldn't stick around in town too much longer just because it does get pretty busy at night. But we were not going to miss out on an opportunity to get a little more gelato. So we headed to a close gelato stop. Us and one of our friends from our group went to get our first gelato of Mykonos. Again, delicious. I was never disappointed in the gelato. Always a little treat. And then after that, we headed back towards the sea bus, loaded up, and headed home for the night. The next day, we woke up excited for a little tour of the island. We are going to see more of Mykonos today, but we started with their breakfast. This wasn't the best breakfast of the trip for sure, but it was a nice little treat in the morning. As you can see, I treated myself to a chocolate croissant once again. As many as I could on this trip, honestly, was kind of my goal. I did really like this space though. Like I said, this family-owned hotel was really, really cozy. They had good coffee, and we got to sit by the pool most mornings after we ate a little bit. This morning we read some just because we were up kind of early and our tour started later than it had on other days, but it was really, really peaceful. And again, a great view of the port, and you could see parts of the main town from here. Cameron started a new book. It was really, really relaxing. This tour started with us going inside a monastery. While last time we walked around a high point of Santorini, this time we got to go inside the monastery. So after a little bit of driving, it was a fair ways away, we arrived. This place was really cool. It obviously is open to the public, hello to our cat friend, but it felt really nice to walk around and see all of the ornate pieces and just how intricate and delicate, honestly, some of these pieces were. It's really neat, I think, this kind of design and this kind of art. I wish we did it more. It's kind of cool, but there was a lot to see, a lot that was probably going way over my head, but it also felt very historical, very connected with the world to look at stuff like this. While in here, we were given the opportunity to light a candle if we wished, but Cameron and I were particularly interested in this picture of John the Baptist being beheaded. This was probably a highlight for us. As you can see, there's a lot to look at in here, a lot of details that we actually probably missed. But after that, we went up to a little museum piece of it, which just has some other artifacts and outfits on display. There, of course, was a cute little gift shop with tons of stuff. We did not get anything, but we loved looking at the nativity scenes. And again, wow, a minion? That's interesting. That was probably my least favorite part. But then our tour guide got us some chocolate from this bakery across the street. It had almonds in it, and Cameron is kind of allergic, so I got 2 pieces. After this, we went on to our next stop, which again was a little bit of a drive, but more than worth it. We were on our way to Super Paradise Beach, not to be confused with Paradise Beach. No, only the best for us. We got to go to Super Paradise, this really, for lack of a better word, bougie beach club. I don't think I've ever been anywhere so bougie. Again, I can't think of a better word for it, but it was really, really nice. They had some good food, and the beach here was gorgeous. There were lots of people. It felt maybe a little bit crowded, but I think we hit it at a pretty good time, all things considered. I wish we were able to be here longer, because by the time we got our food and got in the water, we really didn't have a ton of time. But Cameron got the gyro tacos, I got a little Greek salad, and our friend Chris let us try some of her margarita pizza, which we had been dying to have on this trip, but had just not gotten around to it. Look at this water. I was in awe of just the beauty of the sand, the water. It was one of the best stops, I think, of Mykonos for sure. Once we left here, Cameron and I still wanted to sit in the sun for a little bit, so we sat at our pool back at the hotel as we enjoyed the rest of the afternoon, got a couple of refreshments at the hotel little restaurant, and then got ready for our night. We were having dinner with the other people in our group. There was another hotel just kind of down the driveway, really, that we had our next complimentary meal. I loved the walkability of this trip, and apparently this spot right here, Elon Musk stayed last time he was here, so that was a little fun fact that we learned. But like I said, we just walked right down to this other hotel restaurant where we enjoyed moussaka. We got to order that earlier in the day. We could choose between moussaka and the chicken. I had yet to have the moussaka for myself, so I got it. And of course, another little Coke Zero, a Greek salad that was once again delicious. And this bread and tzatziki was probably one of the best that we had. I didn't have a bad tzatziki by any means, but that one was really good. And again, this moussaka with the eggplant and the zucchini was really good. This was our dessert plate. Obviously not necessarily my vibe, but we've had so much gelato on this trip that I was fine for one night. Cameron and I then went on a little walk just down by the boats, enjoying the sunset again and getting a few more steps in because, man, it was beautiful here. I loved just walking down the streets, taking in the sights. Even with these massive cruise ships blocking some of the water, it was still really something to see. Even though this was a group travel trip, I was really thankful for all these little moments that Cameron and I were able to get together. It made it really sweet to not only feel like we had a community of people that we were with, but also having those little moments just to ourselves. After a good night's rest, it was finally time for our free day in Mykonos. This one we were a little bit nervous about just because to get to a really nice beach, you have to take some public transport, and we are just not really about that. So we walked to this other beach, which was gorgeous and really nice and truly just what we needed, but it was very windy. Sand got everywhere, but we worked it out and it was fine. We ate lunch at this restaurant connected with the umbrellas that we had purchased, got some yummy smoothies, which was perfect for the day that we had had. It was nice and sunny. We laid out in the sun and refreshed with some smoothies up at the restaurant. We also then split just a little dish. It was the chicken fillet with some potatoes. It was also really good, and we really weren't hungry for like a big meal, so it was nice to just try something a little bit different than we've had on this trip and have plenty of room for a big dinner tonight. Cameron really liked it. This is definitely his kind of meal, so I'm glad that we got that too. We spent some more time reading by the water and eventually walked back to our hotel to get ready to go back into town. I'm so glad that we had a beach day. It was so nice. When we got back, I enjoyed another piece of that chocolate that Nico got us. Got a Coke Zero again from the hotel restaurant. Very thankful for that. And then we got ready to go out to dinner, just the two of us. By this point, I had grown to really like taking the sea bus. It was just €2 a person for each trip, and it was kind of fun. It felt like we were going on a little adventure every time we went into town. It was a little bit weird because we hit it at a kind of weird time just when they were loading and switching boats, but it was still really fun to hop on and head into town. Here's another cat. We saw so many of them. I don't know if I've said that yet, but this place is full of so many cute little cats. Cameron and I went back to the windmills just to take a few more pictures, just us, and just spend some more time there. Then we went to D'Angelo's, which is a restaurant and bar that Cameron had found and picked out. This was probably our favorite overall meal. Course for course, this bread, this homemade bread was so good. Dipping it in olive oil was amazing. Man, I wish I could eat this right now. But like I said, this meal probably overall was one of our favorites, which was really neat because it was just the two of us. We got a pizza carbonara and a ravioli parmigiano. Wow, it's as good as it looks. It was so good. We didn't eat every bite, but man, I think I could have. We took some of the pizza back and actually forgot about it in our fridge, and that was a tough loss. But as you can see, I am a happy girl with this pizza. It was so good. I love a good white pizza. It was even better than the margarita pizza I think we had earlier that day. Cameron really enjoyed the pasta too. We did split both of them, don't get us wrong. And then we enjoyed an Oreo calzone. Y'all, look at this thing. It looked so huge, but it wasn't filled to the brim, as you can see. There was some air in there. It was filled with Nutella and Oreo crumbles. This is my kind of dessert. It was so good. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
I don't know if you could hear, but this restaurant played a lot of really weird covers of popular songs, so that was kind of fun. Hello. I definitely want to make sure you know how much I loved seeing all of these cats everywhere. This walk after dinner was full of so many fun little cat friends. I could have taken way more videos too. They were everywhere. We popped in a couple of shops just to see what Mykonos had. A lot of cool local art here, I felt like. There's a lot more unique pieces, but there was also the pretty typical souvenirs as well. And of course, more cats just living their life in total peace. It was awesome. We went back to that same spot to kind of see the sunset. We definitely weren't staying out as late as the night before, but it was still really, really gorgeous here. Again, another cat. Watch what he does here. This is so funny. Oh my word, I thought I was gonna lose my mind when he grabbed that girl's dress. I was like, wow, I wanna be friends with that cat. Here's one hanging in the shade. Wow. We then rested a little bit by one of the small beaches in town, dipped our toes in the water. I did film a TikTok here if you've seen it. No shame if you haven't, you don't have to watch. But it was really, really nice to kind of run around in the water in a dress. That felt very Mamma Mia of me. Now, I bet you thought since we had that calzone that we weren't gonna get gelato. Well, you thought horribly wrong. As our last night in Mykonos, of course, we got a little bit more. And honestly, I'm not usually a cone girl, but it just felt like the thing to do on a trip like this to get your gelato in a cone. So we enjoyed that, saw some more cat friends. Y'all, so many of them. I don't know if any of these are repeats, really. There were so many cats. Nobody owns the animals here, they all just live. There was a couple of dogs like that too, but mainly cats. We then headed back to our hotel. Hey. This just does. Well, it's the moment that we were dreading. It was time to leave the beautiful island of Mykonos and head back to Athens. We had such a great time, truly. We miss this place so much. We grabbed a little more breakfast for our last morning in the hotel. We tried a few things, oh, hello dog, that we hadn't tried the day before, and that honestly leveled up this hotel's breakfast. It was better on this last day, which is kind of sad. As we checked out, we also just admired a little bit more of this hotel. Again, the cats, the art, all of it. This was really a special place, highly recommend. And then we hopped back on the ferry to head back to Athens. Wow. It was a little crazy this time, maybe a little more hectic. I felt like there was a lot more going on, but once we got settled and I got my Coke Zero and my weird little bread treat, it was good to go. I was also really excited because I finished my book on this ferry ride, so that was really fun. Played some cards to pass the time because once again, this was a long way back. Not quite as long as the first time, but when we arrived, we were ready to arrive for sure. We drove back through Athens and headed back to the same hotel that we began at. I don't know if it was the time of day or what, but traffic was kind of rough, but I felt like the views were really nice. It felt really pleasant outside. And our driver, Nico, took us by some sports stadiums because he and Cameron had talked about how Cameron was really into that kind of thing. And so he even rerouted us on the way back to the hotel just so Cameron would get to see them. So that was pretty cool. I can't rave enough about Nico. He was honestly one of the best, and I'm really glad that we had him on this trip. Once we warmed up to him too, it was really fun to just talk to him about his life, both as a travel guide, but also about his kids and just some more about him. So highly recommend Nico. I don't know if you've ever been on a trip like this, but coming back to where we started and seeing some of the sites that we had seen like 8-9 days ago again was kind of weird. It was almost like coming home, but also not. And I was reminded of a lot of the cool things in Athens that while it was a little bit spookier to us because we're not city people, it was still a really cool thing. And I feel really blessed that we got to have that on this trip. We are back in Athens, same hotel. Our room is pretty different.
Very much so.
We thought we're on the first floor when we first got here, and now we're on the 6th floor, and we were 103 and now we're 603. So we're like, it's gonna be the exact same, but it's really not. And so it's like the same general layout, but a few things are different. Let me show you. So first off, things are like brown, and there are side tables. There weren't side tables before, right?
You
Or
had one
I had
built into
one.
the wall. I had nothing.
You had nothing. So now we have that. There's a headboard that's bigger. I don't think it was that big.
No, the one down there one's smaller.
And again, like this brown tone is different. This chair and everything is different. We had like a loungier one, but with no little table.
Yeah.
We didn't have this over here. The desk was over here, and so the desk is over here. This also feels more spacious. I feel like the way they had this and the other one was not very nice.
This doesn't feel nearly as tight as our other room.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot
We don't have
more
two suitcases
room.
in here yet either.
That's true. We will have suitcases soon. This is the bathroom. Again, fairly similar all in all, but like the counter, it screams nicer to me. The mirror doesn't have that cool thing, but that's okay. Different toilet. I feel like this feels more normal than the other one. I feel like we were weirdly introduced to this place. And then again, the shower a little more normal. The other one had a door and all that stuff. So as you can see, things are pretty different. But it's gonna be a nice little last night. Oh, little art on the wall. Hello. But yeah, so last night we're gonna get ready in just a second. Gonna change for our farewell dinner. Chris did say she's gonna do it, so everyone will be doing the farewell dinner now. So everyone will be doing the farewell dinner now, and we're going to Plaka. Not sure where, and I'm not sure. I would assume it's picked out for us. Maybe not. I don't know. We like prepaid for it, but we didn't pick something, so I don't know if how that will work. But should be fun. Till then, gonna relax a little bit. They haven't brought up our suitcases yet, so we can't get ready yet, but probably just gonna relax. We got like less than 2 hours, so we could go up to the pool. I don't know, we'll see how we're feeling. But last dinner, last thing, man, it's been a really great trip. This night was so fun. We got all dressed up, all fancied. Honestly, it was like my last outfit, so I timed it pretty good. And we drove into Plaka with our group. At this point, the entire group was really fun. It was an eclectic group of people for surezies, us included, but it was really fun to go to dinner together. It was also nice to walk around Plaka with a little bit more guidance and just to have some things pointed out to us. A lot of the architecture, the history behind some of the buildings. Again, it's so wild, honestly, how old these places are. Like, I don't want to brush over that, but it's really beautiful here. And again, our cat friends are everywhere. I love them. I love seeing all these cats. As you can see, we had some live music. This meal was massive. They just kept feeding us bread, Greek salad, other appetizers that kept coming out. I even got a refill on my Coke Zero. I was living the best life. These little pieces of zucchini were delicious, and we weren't even to the main course yet. asking, no, Cameron and I did not get to dance in front of everyone, but that's okay. Cameron enjoyed the roasted lamb and I enjoyed the chicken gyro. Again, delicious, and a delicious last meal. They really treated us well. It was so fun though to have the live music and dancing going on, especially once the baklava came out. I was one happy girl. And here you can see our new friends did get to dance and got a little out of their comfort zone as well. It was so bittersweet to leave this dinner. It really hit us here that this was such a once-in-a-lifetime moment to be with this random group of people, to experience this new thing together, to see all these sleeping cats together. Really, all of it was just so picturesque and something that really you do only get to experience once in a lifetime if you're lucky. And we felt really, really lucky, really blessed to be here. Once we got back to our hotel, we took a couple group pictures, and then us and the other couple on our trip headed up to the rooftop just to hang out. We tried to play cards, but apparently that was against the rules, so we just chatted for the rest of the night. Now, truly, the moment that broke my heart was getting ready to go home. We enjoyed our last breakfast at the hotel, which, again, was delicious. I was glad we got one more here. Said goodbye to some of our friends, said goodbye to the lobby, to the city of Athens, and we drove in our Uber back to the airport. This was, again, so bittersweet. It was so nice to know we were heading home and to be just us two again after a long, long trip, but it was so, so sad to be leaving this beautiful place. Once we got on the plane, I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We enjoyed some more plain food, which was honestly a really cool part of the trip. And when I finished the book, I enjoyed my ice cream and watched the first and second Harry Potter movies. So I really couldn't ask for a better travel day. This started my reread of the whole series, if you're interested. So I will be reading the Harry Potter series once again this fall. But watching the movies definitely made the plane ride back a lot better than the plane ride there. It also helped that this flight wasn't overnight like the first one. That was pretty rough. But that is the end of our trip, and I'm so sad to also be done wrapping it up, because getting to look back at these videos, the dancing, the relaxing, the food, the community, man, I feel so lucky to have done this. I know that not everyone gets to do things like this, and I just feel really blessed to have gotten to be here. And just one final time, give it up for all the cats. I think they deserve a really quick highlight, so throwing that here at the end of this video in case you want to remember them as much as I do. But again, and you don't even need me to say this, but I can't recommend a trip like this enough. Santorini, Mykonos, and even Athens, even though it wasn't my fave part of the trip, all of it is worth it and beautiful. In my first video, I hope you saw our trip to the Acropolis and the stops in Santorini. And here in Mykonos, I really, really enjoyed the beaches and just the time to relax and explore. It was the perfect mix of sitting back and discovering new things. So I hope you get a chance one day to go to Greece. It is a beautiful place, and there's so much of the world that is just so beautiful and reflects our Creator. So don't miss out on it. I hope you get to see it one day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.